Welcome to the Shellanomics podcast, presented by King Midas, your ultimate source for pure Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles entertainment. Stay tuned and dive deep into the Turtleverse with us. Catch all the action on YouTube and Twitch for non-stop Ninja Turtles adventures and retro gaming thrills.
King Mike and the heroes in a half shell.
Alrighty guys, Shellanomics episode 12. We are here live with Dan, the website owner of TMNTtoys.com, the virtual Ninja Turtle Museum. So Dan, what are some of your earliest memories of Ninja Turtles?
Well, I'm sort of the oddball in that my first experience with them was strictly from the toys. We were getting ready to go on a family vacation, and I went to the store to pick up a couple of toys to take along the way. And I was trying to buy a full set of the Transformer Terracons and didn't have enough money, so I ended up picking up original Michelangelo instead. And that was the very first time I ever saw them, and the first time I had any experience with them. I didn't actually get a chance to see the cartoon or anything else for months, or actually even more than a year later.
Wow, I see. Everybody I thought grew up with the show, so you actually were the toys first. So I doubt it, but can you remember how much those toys cost new? Like I say, you're a pretty big toy. Well, can you remember like a price tag? Were they just like $5 in that package, or?
No, they were like $3.30, $3.60.
$3 complete mitten package. And did you set all those free back in the day?
Oh yeah.
Okay, had to as a kid. So what inspired you to actually make TMNTtoys.com the website? What came in your head? Like, what was your intention behind this website here?
Mostly because I wanted a resource to know just how expansive the Turtle line was, and there wasn't anything like that out there. And so initially it was just a GeoCities site where I was showing off what I had. And then as I found more and more stuff and just started building it out, eventually, it turned into an attempt to actually record everything that was available. Because when I was a kid, I grew up in the country, so I only had access to like a Kmart and a couple of hardware stores for toys. I never knew all the stuff that was getting released, like as Toys R Us exclusives or stuff like that. So when I finally, moved into a larger city and had access to that sort of stuff, I kept finding all this turtle merchandise that I never knew existed.
Hardware stores actually sold toys back then? I had no idea.
You'd be surprised how much of my childhood toys came from hardware stores and farm supply stores.
Never ever guessed that. Yeah, so I'm actually going to go ahead and see if I can pull up your website here while we are live. While I'm pulling it up, Dan, what made you choose the Apollo toys? I'm sure it goes with your Neil Armstrong quote down there with the turtle toys. What made you choose the Apollo figures?
I've changed it a few times, and the last time I did a major redesign of the site and broke it up into different lines, I just happened to, I think it was when I was going through trying to photograph everything again for the sake of the first person that wanted to do a book about it. So I was going through and rephotographing all the toys, and it just seemed appropriate for the scope of what I was doing and trying to redesign the entire site at the time.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I like those ones. They're pretty cool. So actually, do you have a favorite toy too there, Dan? Out of the group, if you had to choose just one?
Not really. I have so many of them, it would be almost impossible to choose just one.
Of course. So guys, this is the incredible site here we're pulling up, and I want to scroll down because what's awesome about this site is he has, what made you keep going, Dan? I mean, like this turtle group has never ever stopped. We've got Original Line, we got Next Mutation, 2003. They just came out with a new movie last year. I mean, you got to have a lot of drive and passion to keep this site running.
Mostly I probably need a lack of sanity, but it was just a weird series of circumstances. So, like I said, I grew up in the country. I moved to a larger city right around the time the first line was dying off. So around like 96.
Okay.
And, I had my first like adult job. So I had the money to actually start going out and buying, all the figures that were being released at the tail end of things. And one of the first jobs I got when I moved to this larger city was I worked as a donation clerk for Goodwill, which meant, I saw all these people bringing stuff in and donating, and that's where I started seeing all this turtle merchandise coming in that I never knew existed. And, I would see like giant trolls and the Channel 6 news van and, a lot of vehicles that I've never seen before, because a lot of them just weren't sold in smaller chain stores, or they just never got around anywhere that I had access to.
And when did this come out? This website was out before Google, right? So that was the other thing about this. I recall you really couldn't search for this stuff, right? When this TMNT toys first came out.
I mean, like I said, originally I started it on GeoCities.
Okay.
Which gives you an idea how long that was. Literally, we're about to hit about 30 years that this has been going on. I think it was around like 99 or 2000 when I finally, GeoCities, I was outgrowing that, and I was doing a little bit of web programming. So I then moved over and got my own domain name and, started hosting the site elsewhere. And it's just kind of kept going from there.
I'm going to walk you guys through who are watching this now on the, not on Spotify, but on YouTube, but it'll be posted later. I'm just going to show you, these are the original toys right now. He's got links for all the toys. And what I like about this is the passion you have behind this site is just like any other diehard turtle fan. Look here, guys. So I'm pulling up the website now. You'll see he has all the accessories too. So Dan, what made you go the extra mile? I mean, because this is where, nowadays people only want complete figures. Nobody really goes for loose. If they get loose, they want loose complete figures. So what made you decide, you know what, I'm going to actually help out other collectors and post all the little accessories that come with each turtle?
Again, it was mostly something that I needed for myself. I collected primarily loose. I eventually got to the point where I had almost everything I could find easily in the vintage line loose. And that was when I started collecting mint on card stuff back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when, they didn't have much value. The line was dead. The 2003 line hadn't started yet. And so everyone just assumed this was a toy line that was going to disappear into obscurity, and the nostalgia boom hadn't started. So I joined eBay and started buying, mint on card figures and stuff so early on that my eBay handle is just TMNT.
Wow, if we actually look up eBay right now, you are the TMNT owner of the eBay name. Wow, that's a nice fun fact.
Yeah, how long ago that was that I could get a 4-character name and have it be, a recognizable one.
Yeah, without having your birthday or anything behind it too. So I'm looking at these pictures now too. Now, are these out of your personal collection? Like right now, I just have the Gags, Jokes, and Crazy website. We have the Squirting Ring, Disappearing Ink, and the Razor, which I never knew any of these three exist. So is this out of your personal collection? How did you come up with getting all these pictures on your website as well?
Pretty much everything that's on that site is stuff that I actually own, with a very few rare exceptions. There's a couple of things like I think the Warrior Turtle series, since I never had the Flock Razor, which actually probably never actually got released. I ended up using just a promotional image for the group shot of that, but everything else pretty much I own it.
Oh my God. Even like these plushies, like the Santa plush Raphael here. God, these are unbelievable collection you have. Man, I'm looking at a couple of these old artifacts, like the Michelangelo sewer exploration belt. I used to have that growing up as a kid. That one was always cool. So now, did you find these again? Were these, like you said earlier, at hardware stores in Walmart, or was this a lot of garage sale, like flea markets, or?
It's a combination. Most of the loose stuff I ended up picking up. A lot of it originally I picked up either that I bought it or more rare stuff like the exploration belt and stuff that I didn't have access to as a kid. I ended up picking a lot of that stuff up through thrift stores and stuff. My favorite story to really annoy people is to talk about when I found a loose scratch figure at a thrift store for $5.
A loose scratch for $5. Now, for those who do not know the price of scratch, can you tell our listeners about the whole how scratch is such a rare figure and what he actually costs now? That is incredible. $5 for scratch. Jeez, what a find.
Well, as a comparison, I just saw an auction ending for Scratch with his 4 accessories for a little over $2,000. Now, I found this, quite a few years ago before prices really exploded, but he was still a multi-$100 figure at that time.
$5 now it's harder now with eBay and everything. Like, do you still go to like toy shows, flea markets? I mean, it seems like you have almost everything out of this the retro collection, I call it. That's the turtles I grew up with. Do you still frequent them from time to time, and can you still find deals out there? I think it's getting more and more challenging, as anybody could just look up eBay sold for now.
So I don't usually search that sort of place for like vintage turtle stuff, simply because I have so much that trying to find anything I don't already have is so obscure. I would have better luck finding the Holy Grail and the Ark of the Covenant than a decent condition turtle item I don't have at a flea market or a thrift store. But turtles are not the only thing I collect. It's just the primary thing I collect. So I do still like going to that sort of thing and look for other stuff as well.
Okay, understood. Yeah, because I was going to say on your website too, guys, if you're interested, I've seen some, what made you start doing actually toy reviews? I saw there was a couple for like Dragon Ball Z figures, tons of turtle ones, and you've been working on that for a long time as well. What made you want to be a toy reviewer on the website?
When the 2003 line launched, that reinvigorated me to go and start putting more effort into the website and start the separate listings for the 2003 line. And one of the things at the time, it was, there was just a lot of people doing toy reviews, but there was no one doing Ninja Turtle reviews. So as long as I was already taking all the photos and documenting things, I figured I can start doing that. The other thing is, it takes a while to do any of those reviews. So it forced me to actually take some time and enjoy the toys I bought, rather than just, oh, that's cool, I found whatever the latest, hottest thing is, now let me go and look for the next thing tomorrow. And it actually forced me to sort of slow down and enjoy the stuff that I was buying, rather than just, getting into it for the thrill of the hunt of what's new.
Right, to show some more, appreciation. So one I just randomly pulled up right now, these I've never seen before. This is actually really cool. And again, this is all part of your collection. Dream X 1/6 scale Ninja Turtles, Casey Jones, and Shredder review. Where did you find these toys? These toys actually look amazing. I like Mikey's Chucks. Raph's got the size. They've got the grid I like in Turtle Toys, and that Casey Jones in the back. My God, does that have strike a pose?
The DreamX figures were not released in the United States, so you had to track them down through an importer, but they did all 4 of the Turtles, Shredder, Casey Jones, and April O'Neil. I still haven't gotten around to opening the April O'Neil I have, because I just ran out of free time to do reviews, so it kind of got added to the pile to do a review eventually, and that was 6 years ago. It's still in the pile.
Well, I can tell you, we talked earlier before we went live, just that's not even like a tenth of your collection. That's right behind you now. Do you have any favorite toys, or any something that's got a sentimental value to you, like a toy you got from a friend for Christmas or something like that?
Oh, sentimental ones would probably be that original Softhead Michelangelo I got, since that was the very first one. Other than that, I mean, almost everything I have is stuff that I bought myself, so most of it's not really sentimental. It's just, there's things that I've spent longer times trying to track down, so they hold a little more value to me just for the amount of effort that went into them, such as the Sewer Sports soccer ball. I've only ever seen one of them in existence, and that's the one that I own. And the guy that sold it to me 6 months later came back and had seller's remorse trying to buy it back.
Really? I'm sure that's happened with a lot of turtle stuff. Now, how did you accumulate those giant trolls? I'm trying to. What year did they come out, Dan? I was going to try and show that to our audience catching this on YouTube and Twitch right now as a live stream.
Those came out, I think, in 94, because I think the regular trolls came in 93 and the giant ones were 94. And again, that's something that they were Toys R Us exclusive, so I never knew about them until one of them showed up at a donation bin in Goodwill, and then I suddenly had to start searching eBay to look for them.
Yeah, a friend of mine got lucky with one of his trolls because they didn't list the scale of the height of it, so it almost looked like a shady picture, like it looked like a miniature troll, and he got it for like a tiny troll price. So again, is there anything you're actually missing out of this? Like, I'm pretty sure you've got the news van somewhere here too. How about the trench coat turtles? Not the Donatello, that's the loose one, but do you have those up here too? Those very rare undercover turtles? I think they were like near the end of their the old school run.
Yeah, I've got all 4 of the undercover turtles, plus I think 1 or 2 spares.
How much do those go for right now for US dollars?
I haven't looked up the loose ones with the accessories, but the carded ones I usually see popping up in the 2,000 to 3,000 range at least.
They just continue. So where do you see turtle toy value in the next 10 years? It just seems like to me it's almost like it's almost better here to invest in this than the stock market because these just continue to rise in price.
COVID ended up sending a lot of people into the collecting market, and that's when the prices really spiked. I suspect that at some point interest will move on and prices will probably drop. I mean, having been doing this for 30 years, I've seen ebbs and flows in interest, you know, between the different, like when the cartoons come out, they get really popular, things start to get expensive, and then they tend to taper off. I'm kind of hoping that happens because my wallet could use a break.
Oh my god! And the other thing I like about your website here too, Dan, is just for those who are checking us out again, I like the KISS method. You keep it simple, stupid, nothing flashy. Just look, here you go. It's by years. It's by, you know, genre of turtle toy. What made you want to stick to having this as a simple mindset and website instead of having like all these crazy, you know, special graphics popping out at you?
Because everything there is coded in HTML through a text editor. My web coding just isn't up to doing anything more elaborate than what you see.
Oh, okay. And do you have any favorite pieces that you own besides that loose head Mikey? Anything from like the newer toys or anything would you like me to pull up on your page that I can show everybody? Man, it's got a huge list here. And another question too, I guess a bonus one is, where do you store all these fellas?
Most of the loose stuff is in my home along with all of my other loose toy collection. Almost all of the mint on card stuff is in a storage locker, which at this point is pretty much up to capacity. And then all the statues and stuff, I eventually migrated those to my office and started buying some nice display cases so I could at least show off all of the statues that I have.
Oh, are the statues listed on your website here anywhere?
Yeah, they're listed. Most of them were non-Playmate stuff, but like the Playmates cold cast statues that came out in the early 2000s are listed in the Playmates section. And then in the non-Playmates toys, I mean, there's been runs by PCS Collectibles, Sideshow. I have huge display cases filled with different types of statues.
This is probably the greatest Ninja Turtle collection I've ever seen. I'm glad I'm talking to you today. I didn't know that all of this was out of your PC pretty much. This is an amazing, probably the coolest collection ever. Now, do you ever, can people find you on Instagram or is it just over here for all your turtle toys?
I don't do social media much. I
understood.
Sort of have a Twitter, and so for a couple of years I was posting like scans of different documents and stuff that came with the turtle stuff over the years, and posting one of those a day for over 2 years. I finally got through everything that I had back in, I think, June or May of this year. So now I'm just down to very sporadic postings on Twitter.
Twitter is where they can find you? Okay. So what are you most proud of your TMNTtoys.com site? Again, a lot of Facebook groups brag about this site. I'm hoping this podcast will bring more awareness to this, because this helped me out a ton, like I said, when I was trying to build my collection with the checklist of seeing all the accessories with each turtle.
Mostly, I'm just glad that it's serving the purpose that it was intended for, and providing people with, a way to know all the stuff that's out there, and helping people figure out which parts go to what, and helping identify parts, and letting people know stuff that they never knew existed. Because that's the whole reason I originally built the site.
I'm somebody who just am very thankful that you've created this site for us fans. It just makes collecting so much easier. And for anybody watching now, Dan, if somebody wanted to start their own toy collecting virtual museum website like yourself, what advice would you give them? Find
a niche that isn't being filled and fill it. Try and find something that you want to do as a passion project, because I spent several decades building this site, and I would get some feedback here or there, but it's really only in the last 5, 6, 7 years where I start to actually get active feedback. Or if I go to toy shows, I'll have people mention my site, or if I mention that I own the site, that people will respond, oh yeah, I use that site constantly.
Yeah, this is an incredible, this is the first time I actually didn't know, until I'm glad I talked today too, Dan, because I didn't know about this bonus turtle stuff. I only used it for the vintage collection. You've got loyal subjects, you've got the hero clicks, pencil toppers. There's like 30 something pencil toppers. Are those glowing? I'm looking at the pencil toppers now. This is looks like a lot of the Nicktoon ones. Are those glowing? The dark ones too on the middle one? It's got like Metalhead on the bottom, Bebop and Rocksteady, the Krang.
Yeah, the Oshis is what they're called, and yes, some of them are glow in the dark.
This is pretty much turtle heaven right here, guys. So as we wrap this up, Dan, can you tell the audience what your favorite Master Splinter quote is?
As I said, I'm not usually much into media, so the main one I've seen is from the end of the movie, where he said, "I've always been partial to Cowabunga."
Oh, man. Well, Dan, we appreciate your time today. Thank you so much. I do hope everybody listening to this checks out TMNTtoys.com. Real quick, how often do you do updates there too, Dan? That's my final question for you. It seems like you updated a lot.
It tends to be when I have free time, and my job keeps me pretty busy throughout the summer. So I'm now just finally getting back to where I have free time to actually go back and catch up on the site. So I currently have about 1,000 photos of all the stuff that came out this summer that I need to process and get uploaded. Because there was a lot of stuff that's been released in the last 3 months.
Yeah, I guess we just call you the Peter Parker at TMNT Toys with that camera you got put in work today. So again, Dan, thank you so much for your time, and we'll definitely be in touch.
All right, have a nice day.
King Mike and the heroes in a half shell.
Thanks for listening to Shellanomics. Follow us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for the video version. Stay tuned for more Ninja Turtles insights.